It's Rick from Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you today? I've been pulling my hair out a little bit. It's been one of those days. This is like my third attempt to do a barn chat. Uh, First one was over at the barn, too noisy, couldn't hear a word. Then decided, well, I had work to do over in the garage, so I took you over there and got about 3/4 of it done. And lo and behold, the sunlight that was coming through the garage door overheated the phone and cut it off. Great. So I came over here and thought, well, I'll do it in air conditioning while I take a break. And FedEx was over here delivering a new rug because wife had to order a new rug because she got the kitchen, the new dining area table refinished and all put back together again. And she needed a new rug to go underneath it. So, thought, well, I'll set up and do that. Got about halfway through the video and the dogs went absolutely crazy. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And so I paused the video to go see what the dogs were after. And they virtually had treed a guy from the power company. It was like, really? And I even asked him, why didn't he come to the house first? Instead, he started with the outbuildings. The dogs went after him. Blah, 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 blah. So, but anyway, so I stayed with the guy while he finished his check of the poles and the meters and, all the stuff he was doing. And when I got back to restart the video, unpause it and continue, I realized that in the process of doing all this, I had absolutely forgot where I was at, period. Had no idea. So, start again. And so hopefully we'll get through this quickly. Oh, gosh. But yeah, the wife did a beautiful job. Her and her mom and dad worked on the thing over the weekend. And, she'd started on top of it last weekend. And they did a great job. It's very impressive. So, thumbs up to her. She did a great job. So here we go with the Monday barn chat in the house, from the garage, all over the place. Today's barn chat is really going to be the beginning of the series, an introduction to the series on GMOs, which was kind of interesting because I almost didn't mess with it because one of the things that the wife had brought up to me, and it was very, very good, really, because she had looked at this issue years back, and she pretty much like, what are you going to add to this? There's so much information out there. What are you going to add to this? And what do you have to tell people that, isn't there for them to see? That's where you're getting your information, is out on the internet and through these different agencies. So, what are you going to add? Thought about that one, and I thought she was right. And thought there was a little dad. It's all out there. Go look. That'll be the end of the video. It's all out there. Go look. Then I talked to a friend of mine out in Las Vegas and told him pretty much where I was at with it. And he said, but out here you had a reputation for something that a lot of people don't have. He said, you have a knack for taking complex issues and making them simple. He said, where everybody can understand it. He said, maybe that's where you need to go with it. Just explain it to somebody who doesn't have a clue exactly what's going on. He's got a point. Maybe I can do that. Use the old KISS program. Keep it simple, stupid. So that's how we're going to approach this. Going to look at what's going on business-wise. Excuse me for just a second. I'll try to straighten this camera out. Okay, I think I got it. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to try to explain it up, keep it in simple terms, and cover a lot of different areas. Business end of it, what these companies are doing, and what they're up to. And that's not good. It really isn't. I had done some information out on that video I did that the GMOs, this ain't good, covering some of the mergers and acquisitions that they were doing. Folks at a particular trade magazine didn't even scratch the surface. And it's far worse than you might imagine. It really is. And then we're going to look at countries that have kind of smacked their hands and why. And it kind of points the finger at why aren't our governments stepping up to this kind of things. We're going to look into the health hazards of this stuff so that you can get a firm idea of what's going on with it. Out there on the internet, you will find a lot of the stuff is really concentrates heavily on the glyphosate. And there's a reason for that. That's what's presented by these companies as part of their herbicide as the main ingredient. And which is kind of funny because it's really only, usually on average about 41%. But, it's one of the safer chemicals in herbicide. See, the rest of it's called inert ingredients is what's put on the label because they're trade secrets that they don't even share with the government. But I'll share with you some research that have been done by some reputable firms to look at what is truly in this stuff. And some of it makes glyphosate look like Kool-Aid, okay? So, yeah, pretty nasty stuff. And we're going to take a look at that. And some of those things are what opens up pathways to the human beings for glyphosate. It's what the chemical's designed to do, designed to break down membrane that protects the plant's cells from glyphosate and destroy those membranes so that glyphosate could penetrate. Works well on us too. So these are some of the chemicals that they're mixing into these, and we'll share that with you. Like I said, glyphosate is not the worst of the cocktail. We're going to look at the overall health issues and how people have addressed it and addressed it successfully. We're going to look at things like diseases in America because we are one of the big users of this stuff, us in South America and Canada. Canada is not quite as bad as us. They do have a few regulations. The UE really limits the amount of this they can use, but the side effects are even hitting over there. Folks, this stuff, this glyphosate is not good. Okay, I don't want to make it sound like glyphosate's okay. Have some with your morning coffee. Glyphosate's a very dangerous chemical, and you need to be careful of it. The EPA says, that levels at, if your glyphosate level, and they know that it's in your body from what you eat. They're not stupid. It's like one part per million is what the EPA says is safe. Biggest problem is they're not taking on any of the research that shows that our levels are considerably higher now. In the European Union, which uses a lot less glyphosate than Roundup and glyphosate and general herbicides than we do. One group had went out and did a sampling of mother's breast milk and found that they were considerably higher, running on an average of 4 to 8% or 4 to 8 parts per million in breast milk of glyphosate, a little above the 1 part per million that they say is safe. They have found it in people's urine at much higher levels. And of course, Monsanto and them step back and say, see, you pass it right through your system. Now, your urine and your mother's milk. Wow. So anyway, we'll cover some of those kind of issues. Look at some of the successes they've had with getting just totally off of all processed store-bought foods, and how it's turned a lot of health issues around for people. But also look at the coefficient rates of diseases that we're suffering from as Americans. Okay, we have a long list of diseases that things like Alzheimer's and autism, diabetes, Crohn's disease, just numerous ailments, obesity, okay, tied into this stuff. They're looking for environmental causes of this, and I'm even going to show you where if you're obese, you're probably lucky to some degree, okay, and I'll share that with you just a bit. They have found that in people who are obese or overweight, it's usually because of a deficiency of an enzyme in the liver that has been wiped out by your glyphosate. You need to quit using that stuff. And it's the second line of defense that your body has for controlling toxins. If the liver and kidneys can't deal with the toxins, they will convert it into fat cells and store it. Yeah, it's protected that way. That way it's slowly released back into the body instead of a heavier dose. As your toxins go up and your liver's inability to deal with it, guess what happens? You're storing more and more and more and more. And they're building fat cells like crazy, trying to encapsulate this stuff. So, well, yeah, you are what you eat, folks. And it's important that you realize that. So, yeah, even obesity. But anyway, back to this coefficient rating. A perfect coefficient when they're looking for diseases versus environmental effects. If you can come up with a 1, that is a perfect score for, yep, it's that environmental issue that is causing these illnesses. Settled science. A 1 or anywhere close to 1 is evidence of this is the environmental issue that is causing this. In this whole multitude of diseases, okay, they looked at the coefficiency to the use of herbicides in this country, the rise of it. And it is tracked. The coefficient is tracked right along with the increased usage. So you're talking about, but it's not a 1, it's not perfect. Could be wrong. It's only 0.997 coefficient. 0.997. If it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Okay, at 0.997, really. But yet, though, you have agencies like the EPA and Food and Drug Administration go, well, it's not a 1. Come on, people. Now, according to the CDC, and you're going to love this one, talk about following the coefficients of this whole thing. The CDC put out that in my talk, I was talking about from the business aspect, and that's why you need to know all the different aspects. Business aspect, 2014, 2015, farmers found out that they could get premium price for non-GMO products and had started switching over about 15% of the market share of Monsanto to non-GMO crops. Caused a drop. A non-GMO crop, folks, you can't use as much Roundup on. It'll kill it. Okay, Roundup is primarily used as a pre-emergent on non-GMO crops. Not every time you see a weed pop up, you go out and spray the heck out of the field. Okay, that's the difference. So a lot less Roundup is being applied when the GMO seed is not being used. So that being said, 2014 season, 2015 season, we had a leveling out of Roundup usage. It didn't quite well, it wasn't totally leveled out, but it was, they had a drop. Little hiccup in the steadily climbing chart. CDC reported that they noticed something, and this is a recent report, that two areas that they were monitoring, Alzheimer's and autism, in 2015 had this miraculous leveling off spot. After decades of this, it did that. At the same time, Roundup usage went down. Lions and tigers and bears. It must just be a coincidence. These are some of the areas we're going to cover and try to put in just common sense. Folks, wake up. Okay. One lady that I was very impressed with when she went out and actually paid to have her own test ran, found, because her child developed autism, and found out that she had glyphosate in her breast milk, and her son had glyphosate in his urine at very, very high levels. And he had all the classic symptoms of autism, and they'd been diagnosed as autistic. She decided, since the government wasn't going to do anything about this, she was. And this woman just did a total about face. You couldn't got her into her grocery store with a gunpoint. She got to know local farmers that were growing organic and raising organically raised animals and things of this nature. And that's where she started buying her family's food. Within a few years of doing that, her son has no longer showed any symptoms, and this has progressed along now for several years, of autism. It seems to have reversed it. When she had them retested, the glyphosate in both their bodies was gone. Well, if you don't eat the stuff, guess what? It goes away. Your body will get rid of it. Okay, you quit tearing up your liver, and your body's going to slow down storing fat. If you get the good pathogens back inside your body that is being destroyed by this stuff, you will start getting full nutritional value out of your food that you eat, and your brain's going to quit telling you you're hungry all the time. It all ties together, folks. It's that simple. God gave us good food. He gave us a good plant. Okay? And if we rely on natural food and grown naturally and knock off all this nonsense, okay? And trust me, what we have found with what's going on in agriculture, if we don't stop this, we're not going to have to worry about feeding the world. We're not going to be able to feed ourselves because they are destroying farmland. Destroying. It will be worth nothing. It'd be like trying to grow crops in the Mojave Desert. Ain't gonna happen, folks. Okay? Especially if you scratch off water. Kentucky, they found, they were doing analysis, folks, and they were finding glyphosate in rainwater. 75% of the samples they took, scattered around the state, they had glyphosate falling out of the skies, out of the clouds. We need to wake up. If we don't stop this pretty quickly, we're liable to enter into an era that could make the Great Depression not look that bad. You know, people talked about back in 09, the Depression 09 and 010, the recession. They called it a depression, and there was no depression. People lost their jobs, people lost their homes. It was tough times. Okay? But most people ate 3 times a day, or at least twice. So it wasn't anything like the Great Depression. People were hungry, starving. Okay? We're headed for that if we don't fix this. And we're going to show you what that's all about. And It's due to the agriculture situation that's going on out there today. Wake up, folks. Time to get out of the grocery stores. But anyway, we're going to start running these at you. And like I said, I'm just going to point you in the directions and let you go do the research of the technology yourself. I'm just going to show you what the technology with applying just a tad bit of common sense is telling you. And if you're new to homesteading, you need to get busy. Start looking at stuff like Appalachia's Homestead. Tara there's been doing a great thing on Would You Starve? You better start thinking about these kind of things. How much food do I need to feed my family of 4 for a year? What's it going to take? Okay? Now, yeah, you're not going to feed a family of 4 on a backyard garden. It's going to take some land. Okay? Start looking. What do I have to do? Okay? Because it's coming. And if we don't get this thing turned around pretty soon, hard times are coming. It's being spearheaded by the almighty dollar, folks. That's all it is. Greed, greed, and greed. And if you think that they're concerned about your health, your family's health, whether or not this stuff kills you or not, nah. It's all about greed. It's all about the money. You know, I guess these big corporations, if they find out they're killing enough people, they'll invest in cemeteries so they can make a little more money. Be advised of what's going on out there, folks. So we're going to start running them up. I was going to do a bunch of editing and all that kind of stuff to these things. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just start making these videos, get the information to you, get it out there. And hope that my folks that are subscribers take a hard look at what's out there and go, yeah, he's right. Something's wrong. And we need to start acting. If you're wanting to become a homesteader, time to slip in high gear. You may not have that much time to get ready. Okay? Something evil this way comes, folks. And it's being driven by money. I think I read in the book one time. It's kind of the love of that stuff is the root of all evil. Try to keep that in mind. So, this is Rich from Tennessee Homestead. I hope this finds you having a great day. And like I said, we're going to start putting this information out to you. I'm going to try to get them out as quick as I can, but today just making a barn chat and stuff. But we're going to try to get you start putting these out. I'll put them all in the playlist and everything that pertains to those that we've done so that you can kind of buzz through them kind of quickly. And heaven's sakes, pay attention. Get out there and start doing your own research. Understand that this is very, very bad and very, very serious. And it needs to be addressed. Don't get caught short. Folks, you don't want to be standing there not being able to take care of your family. Okay? So you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.